This is done. All right.
Okay.
So we have with us Dr. Loukia Taxitari. She is a researcher in psycholinguistics with a special interest in language acquisition in both typical and atypical populations. She's currently working on reading development and the use of technology to assess children's reading profile. It's very interesting. Can you explain to us, people who don't have, we don't know exactly what these mean, in simple terms?
Yes, sure. Hello, Jonna, first of all, and thank you for the invitation. I'm very happy to be here with you. So yes, I'm a psycholinguist. This means that I study language using the tools of psychology. I'm trying to understand language behavior. So how people talk, what are the mechanisms in their heads that allow them to be able to use language, to learn their mother language, and to interact with each other on a daily basis. So my interest is the very early language development. So the way infants and babies begin to learn their mother language, what kinds of milestones they follow, what kinds of stages they go through. And we're very interested in language development in Cyprus because there is a very special and very fun language situation on the island where we have a dialect that we use on a daily basis, but at the same time we have another form of the language, so standard modern Greek. So what happens there? And we're finding that in some ways these children grow up with similarities to bilingual children. So in a sense, they are closer to bilinguals in their special cognitive abilities, for example. So they have the ability to process information quicker than monolingual children, but in other terms, they're closer to monolinguals.
So it's true that we want bilinguals have this advantage.
Oh yes, of course. That's established in the literature. We know this. Well, it makes sense actually, because the more information the human brain has to process in the environment around them, the more skills the brain has to develop, right?
Yes, so more things to work on and balance and
and
get
jungle
going.
And yes.
Makes sense.
Exactly. So yes, there are some, let's say, special abilities of bilingual children, especially in a good sense. Yes, so we're very interested to see where bidialectal children fall in the spectrum of monolingualism and bilingualism. And I'm also working now, so I'm a lecturer in Neapolis University in Paphos. And we are starting now a new project on how children learn to read. So this is something else that we're very interested in. So how do children assign sounds to these symbols on a piece of paper?
So the connection between the sound and the image.
Exactly. So that's quite interesting as well, because literacy is something that is very recent in the history of humanity.
So the past, how many years?
5,000 at most. And Homo sapiens has been here for like 200,000 years approximately. So it's something very, very recent, evolutionary. And we want to understand more about this as well. We want to understand how we learn to read. Again, what are the different effects? How is this ability? What is this ability affected by? Which factors affect it? What factors make it easier or more difficult? And again, we want to understand this in the special place, in the special situation of Cyprus, where children speak in Cypriot Greek, but they have to learn to read in standard Greek.
Yes, modern Greek, we would say. Yes.
Yes, so, we say standard modern Greek, yes.
Standard, all right. So what is it exactly that you study to see these effects? Is it brain activity, or I don't know?
No, we're using behavioral measures, and there are two measures that we're using at the moment. So one of them is a method that has been out there for a long time, for some decades, and it's called eye tracking. So we are monitoring the eye movements on a screen while a child or an adult is reading a text, and we can tell exactly where the person is looking at. So in this way, we can calculate, we can measure how long it takes for people to read, which words are easier to read, which words take more time, the level of difficulty. For example, if a sentence is very long, it will take longer to read, and maybe even the eyes will stay there, not only longer, but also there will be more fixation, so more stops on this sentence. So we're using eye tracking, and at the same time we're using now a new methodology which is called finger tracking. So we're gradually beginning to introduce tablets in research, and we can monitor the touch of the finger on a screen. And again, we can calculate the speed by which someone is reading a text, and we can compare this to eye tracking and see if they're similar, if they are different, and what they tell us about the reading development of people and the reading skills that they have.
As for infants, while they're trying to acquire language, have we come to any conclusions about what makes it easier for children to absorb?
Sure. Well, we've come to a few conclusions, although there's still a lot out there to study. What we know is that, what we know for sure is that the richer the environment of a child, the better outcomes we see.
Richer, so as in, yes?
As in, so if the people around the child speak to the child, so there is a lot of talking from adults, and not just talking, but actually addressing the child. So having good interactions with the child.